because a lot of people, they think that if something is not happening like right now, something is wrong. But that's not really the case. Sometimes you have to wait it out.
Welcome to the Generation Youth Podcast. I'm your host, James McLamb. Every now and again, I get a pitch from some PR firms, some marketing firms about a potential guest. And I'll be honest with you, if you're listening and you think that's what you want to do, well, the bar has been set kind of high about who I accept as far as being a PR firm. And it's been set by rather high by my guest today. And I would like to welcome Alessandro to the program. How are you doing today, sir?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great. Listen, when the people that are helping you pitch your story to me, I was all excited about it. I'm excited about you as being an entrepreneur, about the things that you've done, the things that you write, and what you can share with our audience. So thank you for being a part of our show today, and I look forward to our conversation as we go forward.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, listen, before we get started, my audience would love to learn a little bit more about you, but they get sick and tired of hearing my voice all the time. So if you wouldn't mind, give them a couple of minutes introduction and tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm an author, entrepreneur, and public speaker. So I started my journey when I was 8 years old. I created a book called The A to Z's of Fighting Boredom. And then I went on to create a science fiction book, a series called Life of the EterniCat. So I already released the first book, and I plan to release a few more books in that series pretty soon. And then I went on to create my own corporation called EterniCat LLC. That's basically like a collection of everything that I have done and everything that I will do. It includes all kinds of things like my books and also my public speaking venture and just all kinds of stuff. So yeah, you can go to the website EterniCat.com and it lists all of my projects.
How in the world at age 8 did you decide to write a book? Because I work with youth all over the nation is what we do. We're part of the Youth Enrichment Program. And this is not very common for people that would be 16, 17, 18, even in college. But yet you as an 8-year-old decided to write a book. Tell me how that started. What caused that? This is exciting.
So one summer I was like really bored and I wanted to create a book on how to fight boredom so that other kids like me could like learn how not to be bored. And so I guess I had the right support because my dad was very supportive. So he helped me with all the technical aspects of publishing. So I just had to use my creativity and put all of my ideas on paper. And he helped me put it together. And that's how the A to Z's of Fighting Boredom was born.
Now, who's the book for? What age group is it for?
I think it's about like maybe 5+.
Give us a little bit of summary or insight about what's in the book. If someone is out there and says, hey, I'd love to purchase this for my kid, what are they looking for? What would be in it?
So it's like a coloring book, but with many activities they can do when they're bored. It has all kinds of drawings and stuff that you can color in. And but it also, it's like one page, there's a drawing for you to color in. And another page, there's like a whole list of activities, arts and crafts and all kinds of stuff.
All right. Now, let me get this straight. You were bored, and to reduce your boredom, you decided to write a book on how not to be bored. Am I following correctly on that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now that's pretty awesome there. That's not happening very often to people seeing that and stuff. How was the book received? When you first put it out, what was the response from your family, friends, people who read it? I'd love to hear what they were thinking about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought it was a great idea. A lot of people were eager to buy it for their kids because, a lot of parents have kids that get bored pretty easily. And so I think they thought it was a great idea.
Then you said also that you have a book series and you published the first one. Tell us a little bit about that one as well. And really, what was the motivation behind it? What made you decide, hey, I want to write a series on this?
Mm-hmm. So my second book, Life of the EterniCat, Rise of Catastrophier, is it So Life of the Time Cat is a book series that I'm continuously planning to develop. And what inspired me to create that series is it was based on my real life cat Bijou. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us more about it. I love this.
Okay, so I just imagined what it would be like if she went on like any adventures, like if she was like the ruler of the time and space, and so I just built a whole story out of that.
That's pretty awesome. And the first one's already been published.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. This is, I got to know, you're a writer at a very young age. What obstacles or what did you have to overcome? What did you have to do in order to get this process started? I mean, you talked some about your dad helping you, but there's got to be a lot more than that. Most kids that were 8 to 9, 10 years old, they're not going to be even thinking about this. So why? What did you have to overcome to do this?
Well, I think it involved a lot of patience. You have to have like a lot of patience to stick with a project and bring it to completion. Because a lot of my peers, I noticed they often start projects, and at the beginning they're all excited about it, but then they lose interest pretty quickly, and then it kind of just disappears. But with me, I had to I stuck with the whole writing process and I brought it to completion. And yeah, so I think just the hardest part is just to stay motivated.
How old are you now?
I'm 16.
Okay, so you've been writing for 8 years. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. I know published authors and have not been doing that as long as you have. All right, you said author first, and then the second word that you used to describe yourself was entrepreneur. What have you done that you would consider yourself an entrepreneur? Because for those of you who may not know, entrepreneurs typically start their own business. They still have their own product that they want to market and maybe a service that they want to market. So what are you doing in that arena?
So like in the beginning, I started out by selling my product, the A to Z's Fighting Boredom, and then eventually Life of the Time Cat. I went in front of the stores and, I pitched my book to people coming in and out of the stores and asking them to buy it. So I think that was great practice for me. And then eventually I decided to create my own corporation called EterniCat LLC. So it's like a collection of everything that I'm doing.
So is there anything else besides the book series that you're doing right now that's a part of that company?
Well, yeah. Well, books are like the main thing. And I eventually have a vision of turning them into like movies or like an animated series. But I also have all kinds of other stuff like public speaking. And I'm also creating my own podcast.
I did see that you guys have that release. And when will your podcast come out?
I think like around Christmas time.
Oh, wow. Well, in case people are wondering, because this will air after Christmas, we're about the middle of December now. So he's looking to be about 10 days, 2 weeks away from launching this. By the time this is aired, you guys can go to his podcast. We'll put that in the show notes as well. All right. What is the main message that you want to share with your audiences as you're speaking?
So my last speech was about how to make dreams come true. So I was speaking to an audience about, all kinds of all the steps that are involved in making all of your dreams come true. And, the patience, consistency, having a nice team to support you, and all of that stuff.
Who are you sharing this message with mostly?
Mostly with younger audiences, because like mostly people around my age. And yeah.
Now, if you're sharing this about helping them get their dreams come true, you must have identified the fact that a lot of them are having trouble fulfilling their dreams or working out their dreams. Would that be a fair assumption?
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Well, they're not being able to accomplish their goals. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to make their dreams come true. Would you agree that that's an issue?
Yeah, that's definitely true.
In your opinion, why do you think that's the case? Why do you think so many young people, some of them in teenage years, have so much trouble helping make their dreams come true?
I just think it's maybe a lack of patience. Like at first it's easy to get excited about projects, but most of the time you tend to lose motivation, and it eventually like kind of disappears from your from all the discussion and excitement. But with me, it's like even when I take breaks from my projects, even when I start to lose motivation, I always come back to them, like maybe in a few weeks or maybe a few months. I just never completely give up on anything.
Well, how would you help them? What would you say to them to kind of help them, stay motivated, not to give up, not to lose their patience? What would be your advice to them?
I'd say it's less about motivation and more about discipline. You
Ooh.
have to consistently put in the effort even when you don't feel like it.
You got pretty good insight for your age on this stuff. When they hear that word discipline, when do you think most people your age, kind of run from that? They think that's a bad word.
Yeah, well, yeah, but sometimes it's just necessary if you want to achieve anything.
You ever have somebody kind of push back on it that's your age and say, "Hey, maybe it works for you, but it won't work for me"?
Well, I haven't encountered that much resistance to those ideas. I think people are generally pretty receptive to my advice.
Anything else? You talk about how to make dreams come to test. You said lack of patience, maybe one reason. Any other reason why you think they have trouble making their dreams come true?
Well, not anything that I can think of at the top of my head right now, but
I do like the fact that you focused in on that patience, because it seems like to now everyone, all generations, seem to want everything instantly. They want it to happen now, and it seems like your encouragement to them is that the best stuff you got to be patient for, you got to wait for. You think that's a good assumption of am I reading that right?
yeah, because a lot of people they think that if something is not happening like right now, something is wrong,
Yeah.
but that's not really the case. Sometimes you have to wait it out.
Hmm. So what's next on the horizon for you? You've got a podcast coming out. You got a book series coming out. Anything else exciting that you've got going on?
Yeah, I'm definitely focused on two main things: building my podcast and also working on my Life of the Time Cat series. Those are like the two main things that I'm focused on. So yeah, I plan to create like a nice series of a couple of books for my Life of the Time Cat, and eventually I'm gonna go into creating an animated series based on those books.
That's really cool. I love that. I love that. How can our audience, when you're talking about a speaker, is this always in person? Do you do virtual speaking? How are you sharing your message with others?
Well, so far I've only done in-person speaking, but I'd be open to the possibility of doing virtual speaking as well.
How can our audience then get in touch with you in order to find out more about how to bring you in and what to do?
Well, they can just go to my website, EterniCat.com. They can just go there and they can go to the list of divisions and click Eternity Motivate if they want my motivational speaking services. And then they can just contact me. They can send a message saying, maybe we're interested in bringing you over. And then I'll accept and then give my motivational speaking.
Any other topic that you deal with besides about how to make your dreams come true?
Yeah, it's just like anything that motivates my audience and gets them excited about doing stuff, and yeah.
That's outstanding. And it's outstanding work. I am so impressed with what you're doing, especially at your age. What are your plans post high school? I'm just very curious what you see happening post high school.
I envision building my company to like really high levels, like having a lot of branches and divisions and stuff, getting into things like maybe real estate and
Wow.
I even intend to contribute to pet longevity research.
Oh my goodness. You do have
Yeah.
some dreams to do this. There's a book by John Maxwell called Put Your Dreams to the Test. And when you were talking about the stuff, that kept coming up into my mind about, how what you're saying is so aligning with putting your dreams to the test. All right, my friend, before we close out with this thing, our podcast here, is there anything that you would like to share? I know this question puts people on the spot. Every time I've asked it before, people are just like, oh. So is there anything you would love to share with our audience about what you do or a message to inspire them before we wrap it all up?
Well, maybe I'd give a little bit of advice to maybe the parents of kids. that have big dreams. My advice is just, really help them out and be supportive. And, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for my dad helping me with all those technical aspects of publishing and printing my first book. So, if your child has some ideas, don't just dismiss it right away. Maybe you can you take it seriously and help them bring it to completion.
Is any of your parents with you, around you right now?
Yeah, my dad is somewhere around.
I was just going to say if they were behind the cameras, then I'd just go have them wave at us. But if they're away, that's okay.
Yeah, they're not here right now.
Well, I do appreciate your story. I love what you're doing. I love that you're there to not only, here's what's really impressive to me, is not only are you doing things that are just impressive in your own right, writing a book, starting a company, but you care enough to pay it forward, that you want to help others and lift them up and motivate them to be in the same, to help them on their path. That's impressive. And a lot of people don't want to do that. I really appreciate what you're doing. I really like what you're doing going forward. Where do you live? Tell the audience where you live in case they didn't catch it.
I live in Santa Clarita, California.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there any social media things that they can, our audience can connect with you on?
Yeah, you can go to my Instagram, just search EterniCat. And you can also go to my YouTube channel. It's for my podcast. It's called the EterniCat Podcast. And I'd most suggest that you go to my website, EterniCat.com, because that has everything.
And for those of you who are watching, that is on the screen right now. And if you're listening to us, it's in the show notes. So if you're on YouTube and you want to look down and look at the show notes there, you'll find it. If you're listening to us online, just go to whatever your favorite app is and you'll find the information there to be able to go forward with. Thank you so much for your time. And hey, thank you for the encouragement to parents. There's a lot of parents there that are listening and watching this and they're going, I love to get my kid and to listen to you, to be inspired to do some great things and to dream big. But the fact that you spoke directly to a parent there, I love that. That's very cool. Very cool at all. So thank you for joining us today on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And thank you, audience, for sticking with us. Listen, folks, this is a special episode. And if you'll just do 3 things for us today, we'd appreciate it. Number 1, comment on this podcast. Comment somewhere, maybe even send him an email telling him how much you've appreciated him being a guest for today, or connect with him social media-wise. Number 2, like it. Like it on what other app. That way it'll show up on more people's feeds. And this is the most important thing. Someone that you know needs to hear this message, needs to see this young man and meet him and connect with him. So share this episode so we can get his story in front of more people and more people can learn about his books, his speaking, and the things that he's doing. Thank you again, audience. And we'll be back real soon with another episode of the Generation Youth Podcast.